Hi, I'm Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and yet very hopeful time we are currently living in. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of January 2nd, 2012, and One Transformation in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. I'll also discuss the Cancer full moon, Mercury moving into Capricorn, and Venus moving into Pisces. And we've also entered into that infamous year of 2012 and the completion of the long count on December 21st, 2012. For the winter solstice and for Ahau in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. January 2nd is One Transformation, which carries the themes of death and rebirth, forgiveness, surrender, guidance of women through pregnancy, new beginnings through the release of what no longer serves us, psychic abilities, the wisdom of the ancestors, and self-actualization. The Transformation Day sign speaks of a choice to follow our heart's intuition and the wisdom of our ancestors, nature, and Mother Earth, or the path of the ego and the dialogue of the chattering mind. I believe that we all chose to incarnate during this time of intense transformation, so it's important that we flow with the cosmic changes. There may be growing pains associated with transformation, but I believe that it's resistance to these evolutionary shifts that creates suffering. Astrologically, the One Transformation Tzolkin, a 13-day period, begins with all the planets moving forward until January 24th, when Mars will appear to move in reverse. 2012 is a very important year astrologically because it's the first year that we begin to experience the challenging exact squares between Uranus, the planet of upheaval and revolution, and Pluto, the planet of death and transformation, starting in June and then again in September and continuing with 5 more exact hits between 2013 and 2015. These are very powerful transits which bring natural disasters, war, and the eventual complete collapse of economic, governmental, and religious systems that oppress humans. So I'll be talking about these in more detail in the upcoming months. January 2nd is One Transformation, unity experienced through letting go of what no longer serves us, with the moon feeling tension from Saturn and stimulated by Neptune and merging with Jupiter. It brings a day where there's feelings of loneliness and then sensitivity to others' emotions, and later feelings of generosity. The third is Two Deer, which is duality experience through being of service to others, with the moon supported by Pluto and the sun. This creates feelings of sensitivity but also of harmony. January 4th is 3 Star, which is taking action to share our abundance, with the moon challenged by Venus, which can be argumentative, and then followed by receiving support from Mars, which carries a more positive quality of self-assertion. So that day, there's really going to be a fine line between asserting yourself and getting into arguments. The 5th is 4 Offering, which is stability found in gratitude for any abundance you have in your lives. And with the moon challenged by Neptune and then stimulated by Uranus, this brings daydreams and pleasant yet some restless feelings. January 6th is 5 Dog, which is empowerment through being with family and friends, and with the moon being supported by Venus while being challenged by Mars, which is energy for both pleasant feelings towards others and arguments. So we have a choice again here of which one we're going to resonate with. The 7th is 6 Monkey, which is being in the flow through experiencing new beginnings, with Mercury stimulated by Saturn and Neptune. This brings a critical eye to what can be improved and also an active imagination. January 8th is 7 Road, which is a reflection on providing service to others, with Mercury moving into Capricorn, where it starts to, where it gains support from Jupiter and then is challenged by Uranus, brings methodical communication with optimistic plans for the future and a very active mind. The ninth is 8 Reed, which is balance found in family and the home, with the Cancer full moon, feeling tension from the sun and stimulated by Mars and challenged by Saturn, brings a day of trying to find balance between home and work and the desire to work independently and a feeling of being out of touch with others. January 10th is 9 Jaguar, which is patience, experience from being in nature, with the moon challenged by Jupiter while being supported by Uranus, brings generous feelings and a desire for some excitement. The 11th is 10 Eagle. This is manifestation through seeing from a higher perspective, with the moon opposed by Venus, which brings pleasant feelings. On January 12th, we have 11 Wisdom, which is resolution from aligning with sacred knowledge. With the sun being supported by Mars, this is a great energy for physical activity. And then the moon is positively aspected by 6 planets, which brings grounded, pleasant, yet sensitive feelings from a place of well-being, calm, and reflection. The 13th is 12 Earth, which is understanding through gratitude to Mother Earth for her gifts. With Venus supported by Saturn, this brings satisfaction from stable, reliable relationships, and then later merging with Neptune and experiences of spiritual growth through unconditional love. Also on that day, Mercury merges with Pluto, which is intensifying our mental activity. January 14th is 13 Flint, which is movement to the next stage through being reflective, with Venus moving through Pisces, moving into Pisces, deepening our capacity for love, and stimulated by Jupiter with feelings of contentment. Given that our current trisena of transformation is the choice between following our hearts and the wisdom of our ancestors, or choosing the path of the ego and the rational mind, I recalled that the Prophecy Rock of the Hopis speaks of this choice. But first I want to discuss a recent article by Carlos Barrios, which was posted on December 2nd, 2011, entitled "What the Mayan Elders Are Saying About 2012, in which he states, "We are no longer in the world of the fourth sun, but we have not yet come into the world of the fifth sun. This is the in-between time, the time of transition. As we pass through this transition, there is a colossal global convergence of environmental destruction, social chaos, war, and the ongoing earth changes. Humanity will continue, but in a different way. Material structures will change. From this, we will have the opportunity to be more human. We are living in the most important era of the Mayan calendar and prophecies. All the prophecies of the world are, and all the traditions are converging now. There is no time for games. There are the spiritual ideal of this era is action. I was struck by this, and as I was also aware of the legislation here in the United States, but also of similar changes to people's basic freedoms worldwide, from governments stating the need for such restrictions for our own protection. With these references to the World War on Terrorism, it brought me to think about this pre-Columbian prophecy rock of the Hopi people. Before discussing its symbolism, I want to preface this information by saying that the important thing to realize about any prophecy is that it does not tell us what is to be, but rather what we need to hear to inspire us to make inner changes that ultimately assist our spiritual evolution, which means that a shift in our spiritual path may provide the change necessary for us to move forward without having to experience the actual prophesized events. This drawing here is of Prophecy Rock, and it describes this time when we are between the fourth and fifth worlds. I believe that this time period will last through the very challenging 7 exact squares between the planet Pluto, representing death, devastation, and rebirth, in Capricorn, representing large power structures such as governments, banks, corporations, and Uranus, representing upheaval and revolution, in Aries, representing war and beginning anew. Most astrologers agree that this time period between 2012 and 2015 will be a difficult time of violent change. I believe the fifth world will begin after this time period. The Mayan and Hopi prophecies seem to be converging now, as they both describe this fiery completion of the fourth world before the beginning of the fifth. Purification from fire represents anything from nuclear war to a global awakening in enlightenment. So clearly, this is a time of choice. So let's look at Prophecy Rock and see what it tells us about how we can navigate these challenging experience. This challenging experience. This information comes from a number of Hopi elders, such as Thomas Ben Yanka and Grandfather Martin. And as described here by the keepers of the carvings, first we see right here, this represents the Great Spirit and the one-hearted guardian of Mother Earth, who gives man the sacred circle if man follows the sacred path. And in the story, a white man leaves to spread this spiritual message while a brown man waits for his return. But the white man comes under the influence of the cross and travels the upper road. So travels this upper road, and he comes under the influence of the 3 men who have 2 hearts. The 2 lines represent having 2 hearts. The folks with 1 line represent one-hearted people. And these 3 men who, with the 2-hearted people, use their technology in what we find as World War I and World War II. Okay, so here we're still in the fourth world, and then here we find this line here represents where we are right now, and this line right here represents the choice between following this upper path or the lower path. Here we have this one-hearted person right here who believes that the 2-hearted people are on the right path by following the cross and materialism and technology. This zigzag line that we see right here represents powerful nations that come together to kill men, women, and children and destroy nature. This bump right here represents World War III, which we're hearing more and more about as many nations are enacting laws to limit the rights of citizens under the auspices of protecting them. The jagged path here ends with the destruction of the world in the flames after the dropping of the gourd full of ashes. Now, this lower line represents the path of everlasting life by returning to the sacred circle in harmony with nature and continuing in harmony with nature and continues long after the upper line ends. So it continues off, and if you actually look at it on the rock, it continues around the edge of the rock. And it shows that by following the lower line, that there is an abundance of food and there are people living into old age. Is this not the choice that the One Transformation Tzolkin is inquiring of us? I believe that humans are storied people, and the stories we contemplate inform our beliefs and inform our sense of reality. And the story of Prophecy Rock discusses that the followers of the cross are taking this upper path away from the earth. And I believe that this story has its roots in Abraham's covenant with God, which determined that some people are chosen to control and exploit the earth, while others will be cursed if they try to object. This story can lead people to feel justified in the exploitation of the earth for her resources and the genocide of people of different beliefs. This is not meant as an attack on the Abrahamic religions. I know that most people involved with these belief systems are not consciously engaged in these behaviors. This is an attempt to ask people to recognize how their stories color their view of the world. Three of the major world religions have their roots in this belief, and it amazes me that they are in conflict with each other, but they have forgotten that they simply have different names for the same God. But this does speak to the power of this story, because each of these religions believe that they are the chosen ones and that the others are the cursed. So is it any wonder we find our world at this crossroads? This upper path is also away from the earth. And personally, I'm leery of any belief system that's preaching ascension, whether it's Old Testament or New Age. I do not believe that any path away from Mother Earth leads anywhere except away from our connection to Source. No matter which you choose, please take some time to be in the flow with our planet by being in nature, watching the sunrise or sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or being with someone you love. Every single day we have is a blessing. No matter what dramas beckon to distract us, we are all here giving this performance a lifetime on this world stage. Just take time out to observe the play as well as act your part. Remember, we are all spiritual beings having this human experience. Anyway, I want to thank you all for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on January 15th for one storm, the Aquarius new moon, Mars turning retrograde. You can check us out on Facebook and YouTube, and I want to invite you to email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you got any questions about what I'm talking about in these reports, or you want to share your opinion. I'll listen to your opinions. Or if you wish to schedule a reading with me, which reminds me, I am offering a special on readings. The reading I'm offering will look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority for making life decisions based on your own unique design. I'll also discuss the next 3 months of astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrological charts. For this special reading offer, you pay only what you can afford and based on the value you actually get from this experience. You will need to be able to either call me here in Maine in the USA or connect with me on Skype to receive this reading. As my gift to you, I will also email you a 20 to 30 page report giving you 3 months of detailed planetary transits as they relate to your birth chart for all paid readings. As always, I am blessed that by that you've taken the time to connect to my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application in our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.